In this video short, I wanted to go through an element shown in my recent breakdown of the vertical slice of my turret shooter, and that's the joystick and weapon states. If you've just arrived at this video series, then let me preface this video by saying that this is a VR game in development where you control a turret and fight waves of enemies coming at you. I recommend jumping back through the series after this video, where you can see different parts of it coming together and see the origins based on my mech full motion simulator. So without further ado, let's jump right in. When we start, we're in the turret, the blast shields are closed and the whole system is off. Soon enough, the turret powers up and the interface comes alive. The joystick displays will come to life, indicating a ready status. At this point, if the player grabs the joystick, we indicate that the corresponding weapon is safe. This is because the weapons are in their stored position. As the blast shields open, the turret weapons rise, and once in position, the joystick displays will indicate that the weapon is armed, meaning the player can rip free with the railguns. Now I could have designed the game to let the player fire the guns as soon as they grab the joystick, but firstly, when the blast shields are closed, they would be firing blind, and secondly, it just felt unrealistic. With a real turret, you want the weapons stowed, not because of air resistance obviously, but more for space debris. Turret arms would have weak points at their joints and would be more susceptible to damage. Now as we finish a level, we get the reverse action on the joystick displays. The display goes back to safe and the weapons restow as the blast shields close. You might note as you look out into the scene that the joystick display is always in the peripheral vision of the player. This is purposeful to make sure they can easily get the weapon status with at most needing only to make a slight glance. We played with the idea of a big AR floating display indicator, but decided on these displays as they fit the overall aesthetic while still staying useful in the gameplay design. Continuing on with the display features, we also indicate when the weapon is overheated because of the player's bad management for firing the weapon. Notice the display flashes heavily at this point, drawing the attention from the player, indicating to the player as to why they can no longer fire. We also duplicate this overheated status indication on the main UI. In this video, I also wanted to give a brief introduction with the hand placement and blending. This is another level of realism that we have introduced to this game that is becoming more common in VR games and hopefully will soon be the de facto. As the hand approaches the joystick, we can see its animation blend to a potential grab pose to indicate the joystick is ready to be grabbed. And once the player presses the grab button, the hand model wraps tight around the joystick and it comes under our control. Here you can see me using the same system to blend the hand into a button push pose using the index finger extending as it approaches the button. In the Unity editor view, we can see wire meshes for the hand joint state when going to interact with an item and the hand joint state for when the item is grabbed. These editor tools for selecting these states and positioning them have all been added to make this interaction system a breeze to set up and use. To push the realism even further, the joystick trigger has a one-to-one relationship with the trigger on the controller, which you can see here in a side-by-side comparison. Unity enables you to get the analog of the trigger push from the controllers when available, and I encourage developers to use Unity's animation blend capability to create this one-to-one relationship. Little things like this animation blending upon interactions really do a lot to increase the immersion of the player in the world you provide them. And with that, we can end this short video. More videos will drop soon in this series with more details on how elements of the game work and the design choices behind them, so make sure to subscribe. If you have more interest in the simulated arms and the railguns you see in this video, I will leave a link here to the video that goes through the mechanics of how they move in relation to the player's actions. And as always, thanks for watching.